Oy vey. 35 minutes after 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, 21st day of January. It is cold. The air temperature is 30, but we have a lot of wind, gusting to almost 25 miles an hour. It feels like 19 degrees. It'll be down to 14 tonight. We are in code blue until at least Thursday. We'll review that fairly quickly. Mike Vigil joins us now. Oh, there he comes. Mike
How
Vigil.
you doing, Richard?
Mike Vigil joins us now from his bunker in Albuquerque. Mike, the former head of undercover operations for the DEA for over 30 years, been overseas, Afghanistan, Mexico, Central America, Panama. He probably sailed through the, what's it called now, the Gulf of America, and also worked in Colombia. All right, so Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
The president now, what's his name, and the government, and I don't know whose actual responsibility is, whether it's this, whether the State Department are going to declare. What are they going to declare? They're going to declare drug cartels as terrorist organizations. Is that right?
Yeah, that's basically what they're going to do, but it's not going to have an impact. And what Trump is doing is he's basically creating an illusion for his followers that he's going to take strong action against the cartels. But this designation, the only thing that it does is it takes three actions. Number one, it allows the United States to seize real estate, bank accounts here in the United States. Secondly, it allows the government to sanction U.S. citizens that have ties to businesses belonging to these designated groups. And then thirdly, it tries to prevent them from entering the United States. That's all it does. And that's something that's being done. It's already, these are actions that we've been undertaking for decades. And there's a law called the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act that does all of that. So this is nothing more than fluff, political theater, but people need to know and exactly what it entails, Richard, because there's a lot of people that actually believe that designating the cartels in Mexico as terrorist organizations is going to allow the government to send the military in, do drone strikes. Donald Trump was talking about launching Patriot missiles against the fentanyl labs in Mexico. He still doesn't understand that Patriot missiles are surface to air, not air to surface. The Patriot missiles cost $4 million.
It's the defensive missile. It's not going to help at all. It's the defensive missile. But because of television now and that series called Lioness, Taylor Sheridan, and all this kind of stuff, now we see that the drug anti-drug interdiction teams can go in with Cobra gunships and with gigantic teams of armed civil or armed military, semi-military, quasi-military, and go in across the border. But that's an invasion of another country.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that, and it's not true. Mexico obviously is a sovereign nation.
Right.
Sending troops in there would be an act of war. And if Donald Trump did something that insane, then, we would create instability throughout Latin America.
What if, Michael? What if the president could convince the new president of Mexico to invite us in?
That would never happen. That would never happen because that would create tremendous problems with the population of Mexico. They would never allow for that type of incursion by U.S. military forces. I remember when I was assigned to Mexico City, Mexico did not even want to have ties with Northern Command. They refuse to have any ties with Northern Command,
Okay.
and they are
All right.
very, very protective of their sovereignty.
Well, I guess we'll just have to leave it to the Mexicans, or we have to leave it. I mean, are there other steps that this country could take if we're saying? I mean, we can poke fun and make fun of Donald Trump all we want, but over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, we have made a lot of progress, have we?
Yeah, there's been some progress. That the fentanyl has kind of tapered off in certain areas, and it's actually gone down. But here's the thing that we can take action here because Donald Trump talks about this designation,
Right.
attacking Mexico and what have you, but he doesn't talk anything about reducing the flow of military grade weapons from the United States into Mexico. There's approximately 200,000 U.S. weapons going into Mexico every year. As you and I have discussed in the past, Richard, Mexico only has one gun store. They sell about 6,500 low caliber weapons. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that he doesn't talk about reducing the demand here in the United States. And that is very critical because if we don't reduce the demand, even if we stop the flow of drugs from Mexico, it would just shift someplace else.
Okay. We had on the Attorney General a little while ago. Raul Torres was on with us, and he brought up that he's going to start doing a lot more work and research and trying to do more about the trafficking of guns as well. He said, and they're not going through gun stores. They're going through, and he named 2 or 3 websites, dark websites, where criminals go or dealers would go to sell these weapons. I've never heard of these websites, but he's going to be. He says he's going to be doing a lot more on that. Colombia. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here's the thing, is that they're going into some of these dark websites, but they're certainly buying most of them from gun stores. We have about 50,000 gun stores in America. We have more gun stores than we have McDonald's. Apart from that, the Republicans have not wanted to control these weapons, do universal checks. They don't control the weapon sales at gun shows. They don't control the sales of weapons,
Right.
That are sold privately. So there's a lot of loopholes that we need to close, but the Republicans are just not going to do it because they're handing gloves.
It's not the
with
problem.
The National Rifle
Yeah,
Association.
guns aren't the problem. So you're saying a lot of these are straw man.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
Colombia had a bad weekend. They once again, violence is escalating in Colombia. What is driving that? Cocaine?
Well, yes, it's drug trafficking, and then a lot of people are very dissatisfied, Richard, with Gustavo Petro, the president, who used to be a subversive with the M19. And he said that he was going to bring peace to Colombia by engaging in a dialogue with the dissidents of the FARC, and then also with the National Liberation Army and others. The discussions or the negotiations broke down with the ELN, and that's what created the violence. So there's a lot of people very dissatisfied with the Petro regime, and I think what you're going to see is a lot of opposition to his policies. But the fact of the matter is that the ELN is now engaging in a tremendous struggle against the government once again.
Mike Vigil is our guest. Mike, it seems so weird that we think of a country like Colombia, we think of a country like Venezuela, and we go, oh man, their leadership are like, they're such bad people, they're like criminals, and yet the leadership of this country is a convicted criminal.
You're absolutely right, and the thing is that we have become the laughing stock in the world. When you take a look at some of the things that are taking place, where Donald Trump is sending, his son-in-law's father, who's a convicted criminal that he pardoned and got out of
Yeah,
prison,
as an
as the
ambassador.
ambassador to France.
Yeah.
So those are issues that are taking place. And then when you take a look at the people that he's nominating for his cabinet, you can get a better cabinet at IKEA. And these people are just going to do everything that he wants them to do. They're going to be puppets.
Those are hard to put together, though. I've tried to put together some of those IKEA cabinets. All
Oh
right.
my God, Donald Trump is going to have an equal number of time like anything done with these guys.
Before he left office, Biden's administration offered a $25 million reward for Maduro in Venezuela, president of Venezuela.
That's absolutely correct. As you well know, Nicolas Maduro, fraudulently took the elections away from Edmundo Chavez, who actually won. So now Maduro is going to be president again for 6 more years. He's already been in office for 12 years. He has created the worst humanitarian crisis where about 7.7 million people have left the country. And there's more that are going to be leaving. Maduro is the head of the so-called cartel de los soles, or the cartel of the suns. And they've been moving approximately 200 to 250 metric tons of cocaine through Latin America, principally through Honduras, through Guatemala, Mexico, and then into the United States, and then also to Europe. So Maduro has turned that country into just shambles. And the only leaders that went to his inauguration, if you want to call it that, was Daniel Ortega, the dictator from Nicaragua, and then Miguel, forget his last name.
Vigil.
From,
Vigil? No, not Vigil.
no. The dictator out of Cuba, his last name escapes me, but they were the only two people that went. And even the leftist governments in South America, spoke out, and they're not, they are not going to have very good relationships.
But I mean, how can we offer a reward, $25 million reward for his arrest? I mean, so we are charging him with what?
He's being charged with narco terrorism.
Maduro is.
I'm sorry?
Maduro is.
Yeah, and others, because Diosdado Cabello, who is his interior minister, his secretary of defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, 15 million, Cabello, another 25 million.
Aye.
And that's the maximum amount that State Department can give. If you remember, that they provided that amount, 25 million, for Osama bin Laden as well.
We had I don't know, it's been a while. It's been like an year and a half, 2 years ago. There was an attempted coup. There were some Americans arrested. Are those Americans still being held in Venezuela?
I believe so. And it was a failed attempt. It was, I have no idea what they were thinking, because, what they went in there with about, I think it was like maybe 15 mercenaries in a boat, and they actually were intercepted before they even hit the shore. And even if they had gotten on shore, Maduro has a presidential bodyguard of 1,000 people. So even if they had made it inland, they would have
always outnumbered, always outgunned. Mike, we'll let you go. I appreciate your time as always. But before we do, any thoughts on the immigration executive orders that are being signed by the president? And now, we have rumors in Santa Fe. There are only rumors in Santa Fe of ICE going out to restaurants and stuff like that. It always happens. We always have these rumors. Oh, they're here, they're there, blah blah blah. And it scares the crap. What do you think about deporting all these people?
they're never going to be able to do it. There's between 11 and 12 million undocumented migrants in the United States. What Donald Trump is going to do is, again, he's going to go out there and, do this political theater of, rounding up certain people. But, we estimate that it would cost about $88 billion for every million people that he would deport. He made this, because you would have to build detention centers, more courtrooms, more judges, more personnel for ICE. It's an enormous requirement. But, he said the same thing, Richard, during his first presidency.
Right.
And he deported less people than Obama and then Biden. So, he loves to basically create
Make
these
a lot of
solutions for his base. Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. As always, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and very enlightening to talk to you. Anything you want to leave us with?
No, I want to wish everybody a happy New Year, and hopefully they'll have a shot of tequila once in a while
And some tacos. Appreciate it.
and some tacos. Take care.
We'll get you up here soon, all
Bye-bye.
right?
I will.
All right. 9 minutes until 3 o'clock. Chef Michael Dooley and Andrea Betty will join us 3 o'clock about some upcoming Sunday dinners. You don't want to miss that. Don't want to miss dinner. And Dr. Wendy Johnson at 3:30 today. Anything we can do for you, you can shoot me an email at richard@santafe.com. If you would like a $25 gift card to Knuckles, I will mail it to the winner with a stipulation you haven't won anything in the last 2 months. Call number 6 right now, 505-424-1260, $25 gift card to Knuckles in the Rail Yard. Food, beer, spirits, and all of that. Call number 6, 505-424-1260.